Hi, my name is Ashley Yvonne Howard, and I'm the Senior Cloud Security Strategist at Panther. In case you're unfamiliar, Panther is a cloud-native SIEM built for large-scale security operations and trusted by many FinCloud companies, including Coinbase. So, why do cloud-driven security teams choose Panther? For Coinbase, it was a need for a flexible way of managing detections with our concept known as detection as code. This allows for custom detections and also hundreds of out-of-the-box detections, which allows for a faster time to value. It was also beneficial that Panther integrated natively with AWS and had streamlined workflows and processing that wasn't offered by their prior SIEM. If you're looking to reduce your SIEM-related costs by 70% on average compared to legacy vendors and improve your overall threat coverage, we'd love to talk. Thank you.
Thank you for having me today. My name is Yanesi Nunez. I am the Chief Information Security Officer at the Depository Trust and Clearing Corporation. Today, I'm going to take you on a journey to talk a little bit about cloud security and the work that we do to ensure active defend and protect of the environment, leveraging our emerging cybersecurity landscape. As part of this conversation, it's always good to talk about what the threat landscape looks like today. What are some of the things we're seeing from a cloud security standpoint? But also, how do we build effective emerging cybersecurity technology, teams, and capabilities to continue to protect us now and into the future? Part of that discussion is truly around what we're seeing from a threat landscape standpoint. We see various factors that lead us to ensure protection in our space. The ever increasing ransomware that's taking place in and out from various different sources continues to add and increase the pressure that we see not only to businesses, but continued operations. There are recovery complications associated with ransomware, whether there are different types of encryption methods, up to and including the availability of your data that can now be used not only as a deterrent, but also as a way of creating a dual ransom situation within your environment. We're seeing a lot of various zero-day vulnerabilities. I believe the latest increase, something like 300% over the last 5 years of zero-day vulnerabilities, that they come in and day out, stressing our capabilities and our team's ability to ensure that we have the latest and greatest protections within our environment. Additionally, the geopolitical landscape continues to evolve as there are more and more implications and activities surrounding cyberspace. Various tensions throughout the world that continue to stress our environments, and also the work that we need to do to continue our proactive protection. Additionally, we're seeing new and improved types of attacks, whether leveraging new AI sophistication, new computing capabilities, and technology capabilities to enhance the ability to circumvent controls, whether those are of a technical venue or of a process venue. We're seeing more and more processes being circumvented, in addition to pairing that with vulnerabilities on technology. Finally, the advent of malicious insiders that are now part of your organizations that may have a longer term goal to circumvent not only your technology controls, but your business processes controls as well. All that being said, we see a space that continues to get targeted that continues to require continuous evolution within the work that we do day in and day out. So, what are some of the things that we're seeing in this space, specifically when we think about the work that happens in fragmented, very large enterprises within the cybersecurity space, leveraging cloud security, and of course, within the context of the threat landscape? We find that we have areas of opportunities, such as identity and access management. Processes that are being exploited in this space include joiner, mover, leavers that may be managed by separate privileged users. Lack of understanding of what we like to call toxic combinations, and that is when a user has more access than they require for their day-to-day activities. And over time, this access becomes more prevalent. Cloud security responsibilities, the models around them may have lenient security. And of course, the lack of uniform security measures across the various systems within the environments. You may have a legacy environment, you may have grown up in the cloud, as they say, or you may be in a hybrid space. All of these create pressures that our teams need to be aligned with to deliver on the mission to defend and protect their various environments. Reporting becomes an issue, specifically around regulatory compliance and making sure that you have that holistic view across your environment. So these are some of the areas and some of the challenges that we're seeing for various enterprises within the space. At a high level, when we think about the various components of environments that we see, we need to focus on how our fragmentation and what best practices we can leverage to ensure that we not only have the right people, but also the right processes and the right technology in place. Many of the silos that we need to break down have to do with our ability to share information, share intelligence to the right people at the right time for the right impact to support our mission to defend and protect our environments. Training and awareness becomes extremely important. One of the things I like to say to my teams and also to my business partners is that the same things that got us to be successful up to now are not going to be the same that take us into the future. So what are we doing to continuously evolve and upskill our personnel to ensure that they are up to date, not only from a technological standpoint, but also from a business process standpoint with the latest techniques that can be leveraged, not only to perform their activities, but also to protect them as they continuously evolve. Processes need to change, whether those are people process controls, technology process controls, or even some of the controls that you use for regular upkeep of your environment. Ensuring that you're responding rapidly to those things that require fast prioritization. Again, keeping abreast of the current threat landscape. From a technology standpoint, we're seeing an advent of great changes that are happening extremely fast. Keeping up to date becomes key. Sharing information becomes key. But it also is a component that can also help us defragment and ensure that we have cohesive alignment within the various teams that support our mission. When we think about and focus on the various components that lead to robust security and data applications, we need to strengthen our access management. We need to focus on securing our data and applications, while at the same time balancing the tough job of mitigating those threats that take place within the environment. When focusing on people, it's truly important to not only create an environment where folks can ask not how they do things, but what can they do to help protect those things and help thwart any attacker from trying to circumvent those day-to-day activities. You want people to feel comfortable in asking those questions, specifically to ensure that they're delivering the value that you need them at the right time. Specifically, when you think about your cybersecurity teams, your cloud security teams, they're just a small subset of your organization. I find that security is everyone's business, and empowering people to be your lines of defense in their day-to-day activities can help take your program to the next level. From a cloud security standpoint, it's truly important to make sure that the collection of controls, procedures that you do and use are designed to protect not only from internal threats, but also external and those that come from your trusted third parties. Coordinating, exercising, having sufficient visibility can really help turn the tide when things go bump in the night. Ensuring that you have great communication across all components of your program becomes the boon that you need to identify a quick solution when things go bump in the night. From the perspective of a defender, making sure you're leveraging early adoption of new technology becomes extremely important. As I mentioned earlier, the same things that brought us to be successful today may not be the ones that we need into the future. Being able to continuously evolve and advance the work that we do can help protect our environment, specifically around new components of interoperability, components of connectivity, and how we scale into the future. Having the flexibility to ensure enhanced controls, agility, and as I like to say, the ability to zig when things don't go the way that you've planned them become important, not only for creating efficient controls, but also for reducing your costs as you improve your scalability and your interoperability, not only within your environment, but those that you interact with most frequently in a day in and day out component. For the next part of our journey, I really want to touch upon some of the work that we do in the space, specifically as technology emerges and the adoption lifecycle for new technology. Every early adopter, I should say, in the technology lifecycle continues to run into a gap. And this gap is the space that pretty much segments their ability to have credibility that arises when trying to seek what is the best space for the group to really leverage as a reference as they continue to advance their environment. As consumers, this becomes very difficult, specifically because we all have certain preferences about how to do things. As we know, one size doesn't fit all, and every organization has a special secret sauce for running their businesses. This could create a challenging dilemma, specifically as you continue to focus on what are you doing to enhance your environment. Normally, this gap is the widest between the time that you're an early adopter versus when folks are adopting it wholesale. Frankly, this is where attackers get really excited about. It's this area of instability, this time of trying to be a visionary and an early adopter versus the efficacy of whatever it is that you're trying to be an early adopter on. And I find that in the ever changing and evolving landscape of the cloud and cloud security, that's what we have to continue to lean into so that we can ensure that we're putting these new advancing technologies through its paces. And again, requiring that our teams are open-minded enough to continue to push and challenge as we become early adopters, specifically to continue to uphold our ability to protect and defend our environments. This is where I feel we can help not only to protect ourselves better, but give back to the community in being early adopters of new technology that can help us be successful. within our mission. From the perspective of technology enthusiasts, I feel that they do a really good job as it pertains to the work that they not only engender for our industry, but the great work they do day in and day out to focus and hone in on the things that can help not only with our engagement, making sure that we have good visibility and simplify truly the adoption. And I find that communities like the Cloud Security Alliance can really help us spearhead our ability to quickly get feedback on the work that we're doing by committing to engaging with visionary vendors, being part of communities and influencers, and at the same time, providing critical feedback. I find that it's truly important to give critical feedback if you want to see the change that's going to propel not only your company, but the industry forward. You have to give that candid, critical, and real feedback so that the technology, the processes, our communities are pushing and driving forward. Part of that feedback is to engender and simplify the early adoption. We have to lower the bar, not necessarily make it easier, but lower the bar for adoption by making sure we're providing active feedback. I always heard it say that no one wakes up every day trying to be an impediment to the work that they do, the communities that they care about, and the areas where they participate in. And part of that is we all need to band together and collaborate and challenge so we can move forward. Hey, the attackers are doing it themselves. Why not us? Let's continue to band together and work as one team to ensure that we can deliver on our cybersecurity vision and mission. I like to say that in cybersecurity, you're it, but also that it's a team sport. We're going to win together, we're going to lose together, but at the end of the day, we're going to continue to advance the industry and advance the work that we do day in and day out. Part of becoming an early adopter is frankly running into problems here and there, and that's okay. Please make sure that you're sharing your areas of expertise. You're focusing on simultaneously not only being independent, but making sure you're running multiple different paradigms that can help you have resiliency as you adopt this early technologies and also technology processes. When I think about the components of an early adoption process, awareness, early adoption, proving things in your environment to make sure that they work in the intended way you want them to, but also making sure that you're highlighting the pros and the cons. There's not going to be a perfect silver bullet in every occasion, but part of it is how can you influence in the way that that solution gets developed, gets deployed, gets adopted, and it can be successful. It may fail as well, but that's part of the journey. As we think about the journey and not the destination, we know that there's going to be a lot of trial and error along the way. That's also part of the work that you and your teams need to do to make sure that you can continue to advance the industry. We all have to be part of the solution. We also all have to be part of the ecosystem. I implore you to continue to be part of these communities and continue to strive to deliver timely, evolving, but also efficient solutions. To wrap things up today, I really want to hone in on three key messages. Address security fragmentation as you see it, specifically around people, process, and technology. Make sure you have the right policies in place. Make sure you have the correct mandates in place, but make sure that your objectives are objectives that leverage the various different ways that environments, systems, processes can be protected. Don't prescribe to a one-way approach of getting things done. Continue to look for controls that are available, controls that are novel, controls that can help you deliver on progress, on security, and on efficacy. From a technology standpoint, know that you will need to continue to test and try out new things. And sometimes you may find a secret sauce that can help you move forward faster. When you identify those that can help the industry, share your knowledge, share your triumphs, and sometimes share your failures, because someone out there may have a solution, may have a different problem or the same, and you can leverage future successes together. From a cloud security standpoint, continue to understand your coverage, understand your strengths, your weaknesses, improve the governance around that space, mitigate threats early on, prioritize your weaknesses based on their critical risks to your environment. Focus on driving a one team approach, leveraging the strength of your people, the resilience of your controls, and the power of your technology. And finally, from an emerging cybersecurity component, work to be a visionary, work to be an early adopter, provide great feedback, engage in communities, and develop a good view, a powerful radar of your environment and the industry and your involvement in the industry. Continue to drive for simplification of early adoption. And as I mentioned earlier, it's all about the journey and not the destination. Thank you for your time. And I hope you're building a great community engagement with the Cloud Security Alliance. It's been a pleasure.